Kim, what is our second main topic today?
All right, Albert DiConti says, "Hey, John, I know you've said that you don't think Killmonger could ever come back and be the new Black Panther, and you might be right. A new report is saying he is going to be back in Black Panther 2, but he's still dead in the Ancestral Plane. I guess that would make sense since he was King of Wakanda, albeit shortly. Do you think Michael B. Jordan could come back to play Black Panther?"
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Albert. And look, I love Black Panther. I love that movie. It's so great, and I'm on record. I've been on record from day one. I really feel they should have recast T'Challa. I think that's how you honor Chadwick Boseman. I think you carry on the legacy of Chadwick Boseman by passing the baton on to the next, and you move forward and you move on. But they didn't do that, and that's fine. Still, I'm looking forward to Wakanda Forever. But one of the big questions that's come up, because one of the reasons the first Black Panther movie worked so well was Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger. Now, in an MCU that is dominated, one of the little chinks in their armor has been they don't always have the best villains. That has kind of been the track record. Like every once in a while they have a great one like a Loki or something, right? But they'd also have Malekiths from Thor the Dark World, or, you know, Ironmonger from the first one. And, you know, not always the strongest villains. And of course, they've been turning that around a bit with Thanos. But then along comes Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger, which was such a great antagonist, such a great villain. Partially because there was an emotional way where you saw how he turned and how he went from being a good kid to being a bitter, vengeful kind of dude, right? But there has been this debate and argument over the years since Black Panther came out that a lot of people think, well, Killmonger should come back and be the new Black Panther. And I'm like, I've always been, what are you talking about? He is literally one of the most evil people there's ever been in the MCU, which is part of what makes him such a great character. But he literally talks about, not only do I want to go out and kill everybody, I want to kill all their children. And like, even in What If, he was an asshole. Like in What If, you think, well, this is where they make him no, even in that, he's an asshole. He is a genocidal, vengeful, angry, villainous, terrible person, which is part of what makes him so awesome to watch in the movies. That being said, there is a report out right now. Now, granted, this is a report you got to take with a grain of salt. This is not coming from the Hollywood Reporter. This is not coming from Variety. This is not coming from any of those. But there are reports going around that do have some weight to it, because I've heard other whispers regarding this at the same time. And that's that we could see Michael B. Jordan in Wakanda Forever, but on the Ancestral Plane. Like, not back in the movie, like the character wouldn't be back. This comes to us from the folks over at the AV Club who write, oh, that's the wrong one. This is from the folks over at Screen Geek who write the following. As far as who else is returning, we're hearing that an unexpected character will be back. We've been told that Michael B. Jordan will return as Killmonger in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and that he will be a mentor to a young hero. The return will take place in the Ancestral Plane. Now, that would mean that, yes, the character is still dead, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I can't remember who wrote in the question, but they're asking, you know, I guess it makes sense he's in the Ancestral Plane because he was king for a while. But remember, you don't have to be king to be on the Ancestral Plane, because in Black Panther, a young Killmonger, or Killmonger, once he took the herb, he was able to visit his father in the Ancestral Plane, who was never king, right? So it makes sense whether he was ever, because obviously Killmonger was never actually the King of Wakanda, because T'Challa neither died nor did he yield. So technically speaking, he was never king, but that doesn't matter, because the movie shows that you can still be part of the Ancestral Plane. So this would make sense. I'm not saying this report is true. Let's be very clear about that. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying I think you have to give some attention to it, because it makes narrative sense and it makes marketing sense. Disney knows that Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger was a very, very popular character in this world. Audiences really liked him a lot. And this makes a narrative doorway that you can use him without contradicting a lot of the stuff that you've already laid out. And so to me, since that makes sense, I look at a report like this and I go, okay, that could be. Again, I'm not saying it's true, but it does make sense. It could be, it fits. Kim, let me ask you this. Do you think they would actually bring back Killmonger at this point? And if so, what kind? Do you believe this idea about keeping the ancestral plane? Do you think Marvel once again becomes the Marvel fake death cinematic universe and just brings him back from the dead? Do you think? I don't know. What do you think about this?
I have an issue with this. Number one, I don't know what excuse they're going to give for T'Challa not being there. I don't know if Wakanda Forever will take place during those 5 years when he was dusted or he was blipped. Because if you put Killmonger in the ancestral plane, depending on what excuse you're giving for T'Challa's absence, you would have to put T'Challa in the ancestral plane.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. That's a very good point.
Why is he not here? Is he on vacation? You know, and
he's on the ancestral Hawaii.
Exactly. But also in their mystical ancestral plane during the blip, wouldn't T'Challa still be there because it is a place for spirits, not necessarily for your existence? Because you can't blip someone that's already dead, I don't think. So for me, it would make sense for T'Challa to appear in the ancestral plane. So to bring Killmonger back there, it would feel very backwards. Also, if Michael B. Jordan comes back, the only place I would want to see Killmonger is in a scene like that very briefly. And I don't say that because I don't think he did a great job. I say that because he smashed it. He smashed that role. He did a great job. And I feel strongly about when a character has a very well-written exit, let it be that exit and let that legendary performance just stay there. I'm not a fan of resurrecting perfect endings when you go, that was the perfect ending for that person. And then you bring them back in something else and it's just, it doesn't have the gravitas. It's just not that great as the first time. I'm worried about whatever exit or whatever situation that he's in this time, not capitalizing on how great his performance was in the original, but kind of watering it down. So quite frankly, I'm not a fan of bringing Killmonger back at all for several reasons.
I guess I just have to wait and see what their narrative is.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard because, and look, they have brought back characters that have great end, like Gamora. Her ending in Infinity War is great, and then boom, she's back.
Yeah, that made sense, and she didn't give.
Make it make sense for Killmonger.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Zoe Saldana is amazing, but she didn't give this groundbreaking, amazing performance when she died. Whereas I feel Michael B. Jordan, I was like, man, the way you played a villain that we could feel for you, but we're also like, you're also a murderer. Like, the way you played that, man, that character, that fire that you brought, that was an excellent performance. And cut. We're done.
And we'll just have to wait and see what the story is for him. If it makes as much sense as some of the others who have come back.
Because what are you going to say about T'Challa? What's the narrative there? You can't have one with that. We can't even talk about Killmonger coming back without knowing the situation with T'Challa. That's how I feel.
Well, they're clearly going to explain the situation. I think they're going to explain he died.
Oh yeah, no, they're going to explain it. But that is a great point.
Then where is he in the ancestral plane?
Yeah.
So maybe they'll just keep him in the Panther form because remember the Kings were in Panther forms.
That's true.
They'll just say, oh, that one on that branch, that kitty on that branch, that's T'Challa.
That's a good point.
And he's going to wave his paw, hello, and then that's it. That's all. I don't know, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this report? Do you believe that they're going to bring back Killmonger to be in the ancestral plane? Do you think they're not going to bring him back at all? Do you think they're going to fully bring him back to life? I don't know. What are you guys thinking about this right now? Jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.